I just got done installing this Castico shower system. There's a couple things that I really liked about the unit, and there's some things that really turned me off to the unit. So much so that this will probably be the last shower system I buy from Castico. I was looking to explore a new product, and it just ended up being something that I don't think is a great product. And I'll get into why. But I want to start off with the things that I like about the unit. Firstly, I think this is something that's definitely DIY friendly. You don't need a ton of tools, a couple power tools, a level, some painter's tape, and some silicone. You can get the job done. From that standpoint, it's a good system. Very user friendly. It gives you the look of tile without actually needing to set tile, use leveling clips, have a tile saw, so on and so forth. The material itself is sturdy. It feels good, almost like a porcelain, not quite glass like porcelain, but very similar. Installation is pretty easy. I installed everything by myself except for the pan. The pan, I actually needed an extra set of hands because the first time I set it didn't turn out so well. We'll get into that on things I didn't like. Installation was quick and easy. It looks good. It's relatively simple to follow along on the instructions. And overall, I think it's going to be a great suit for my customer. They're happy with it, and in the grand scheme of things, that's what matters most. So let's get into why I will likely never purchase and install one of these units again. So I originally found this product through a referral of someone I know and trust, and with their recommendation being that it installs rather easily, it looks good, it's solid, and overall a time saving project compared to tile. I decided to offer this to my customer as a possible fit for their shower. This was tiled before, prior builder did not waterproof everything right, and it resulted in a lot of water damage and leaking down into their first floor bathroom. The appeal with this also is that there's very few seams where water can seep in and become an issue later on. Your only main points of concern are the three seams on the back wall, two corners and middle, and then if water should ever get behind there, there is a flange on the bottom that gets siliconed to the pan and the wall to mitigate water from getting down behind the pan. And with their concern of a leaky shower, they didn't want to go tile again. So here we are. This is a happy medium between tile and a fiberglass surround. So let's get into why I will likely never purchase one of these systems again. To start, ordering. So when I looked for this system, I went to their website. I found the exact sizes that I needed for my customer, and I sent them that information through their website to pick pattern, color, their pan, so on and so forth, so they could get exactly what they wanted. But little did I know that Home Depot is also a supplier of Castico. So through Castico's website, this full unit, including the shower walls and the pan, not the door, no hardware, no trim kits, anything of the sort, that was $2,900 through their website. Little did I know that Home Depot had a very similar product with a slightly different pattern on it. Same size, same dimensions, same pan, but for $1,900. I think it was $1,999. So $900 less going through Home Depot than through the Castico website. When I reached out to Castico after the fact, they said that it is shipping costs. Second thing, when I installed the pan the first time, I got all my thin set down, and after setting the pan, I checked level and I saw that it was not level. After trying to pack the pan down using a rubber mallet, as the instructions say, a vibrating tool, I had no progress. So after that, I tried using a suction tool to pull the pan up, Without getting anywhere with that, I tried to slowly pry the pan up from the side facing me, and unfortunately, it snapped the pan in half. So there was a fracture from the right all the way to the left, connecting at the middle. So the pan itself is listed at 1 1/8 inch thickness, but through my own measurement taking, I noticed that the outside perimeter is only an inch. There was no extra eighth in there. It's only the exterior perimeter that is that inch. The center is close to a 1/2 inch. I didn't measure it, but it's very thin, creating a weak stress point throughout the entire pan. Another thing to note is there's no reinforcement in the pan. There's no fiberglass, there's no rebar of any type. It's simply a plaster like substance. It looked like it doesn't hold together very well, if that makes sense. I feel like it's not something that should have broke with the little pressure I was applying when prying it out. Number three, the pattern. So these are pattern specific panels. Look around left to right, the pattern should follow in the direction that it goes. So you have a consistent pattern all the way around. What I noticed when setting everything is that the pattern doesn't perfectly line up in all the places. So when I actually first went to install it, I started with the back left panel. I set that down onto the pan. Um, Another thing to note is usually you want to put an expansion gap around the panels so you can caulk them, and that gives you some movement variation as the house shifts. There was absolutely no information in the instruction manual about that, but going into the pattern, so I installed back left first, and then once that was set, installed back right per the instruction manual. But what I noticed when I was installing it is when I flushed up the top of the panels, the pattern was not even across. There was a small variation, enough that was noticeable. Being that the pattern is at eye level, my choice was to offset the height of the panels a little bit and raise the left panel so that the pattern lined up versus having a flat top. And coming from a $2,900 shower system, I would expect the patterns to line up perfectly. That's one of the appeals of this system. And my final complaint with it is shipping times. Originally, they had estimated a 2-week shipping time on the full kit as I bought it. It did come in a couple days earlier, and this is after a 1 week processing period. So you're looking at 3 weeks, I believe it was, from order date to arrival. Furthermore, when the pan broke, I immediately ordered one through Home Depot. I was able to find it on Home Depot. It's not a stocked item, and that itself took almost 2 weeks to come in. So I was here kind of twiddling my thumbs, waiting for that new pan to come in. Granted, I did break the pan, but still, that is something that needs to be said about this unit. I did reach out to the company after I broke the pan and I said, hey, look, I tried lifting the pan up. Through that process, it snapped. Is there anything you can do? Along with if they could do anything to offset the cost of the $900 through the different suppliers. It was the standard. Our warranty doesn't cover any issues during install, and those costs are occurred because of shipping. Hopefully, you guys found this informative and you can make a sound decision should you choose to buy and install one of these systems.